Hey, subscribers, it's been a while since I've done a video here on YouTube. It's been about close to 2 months, maybe about a month. Yeah, it's been almost close to over a month. Um, well, a lot of things going on. I've been watching a lot of horror films over the last 30 days. Work and stuff like that. But if you are in my Facebook timeline or read it or whatever, you will know that on September 28th was the 30th anniversary of Friday the 13th, the TV series. And on that day, I watched the very first episode, which was called The Inheritance. And I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do. I've already done a review of the entire Friday the 13th, the TV series, seasons 1 through 3. Just pretty much just going through each episode and giving my full review of that season. But I'm gonna do a little something different here. I'm gonna do a review of each episode. I'm gonna try to do it every Friday or every Saturday. This is episode 1, The Inheritance. So, without further ado, the very first episode of Friday the 13th introduces us to Ryan Dallion and Mickey Foster, who are acquired the Louis Vendredi antique store. So pretty much in the beginning of the episode, you see the credits, and then you go to Louis Vendredi, who is played by the late R.G. Armstrong, who made a deal with the devil, and then he's trying to get out of it. So he ends up dying in the beginning of the episode. But before he dies, so there's a little girl named Mary who comes in there with her stepmom and her dad to buy an antique, and she ends up seeing this doll. So, it's obviously a cursed. The cursed object of this episode was the doll. So, flash forward to doesn't really give an exact timeline or whatever, but flash forward to the future. Mickey and Ryan become the owners of this antique store. And before Mickey had went to the store, she had priorly gonna get married. She was engaged to her boyfriend Lloyd, and so we never hear from him again until like the ninth episode of this season. But anyway, after they find out that they got the store, and they have to say, start selling all the objects. They don't really know it's cursed objects yet until when they're selling all the products, all the objects and everything. A shadowy figure comes through there, and you find out that he used to help Louis Vendredi at one point getting these cursed objects, and his name is Jack Marshak, played by the late Chris Wiggins. And so you find out that all three of these people are going to be like the main characters of the show from the beginning credits as well. But before I get into the plot of the episode, this was created by Larry B. Williams and Frank Mancuso Jr. And everybody knows who Frank Mancuso Jr. is. He's pretty much the guy behind the scenes from Friday the 13th 2 all the way to 8. He's the one that helped get the Friday the 13th series rolling. He went on to do the Species films. So yeah, this episode was written by William Taub and directed by William Fruet. William Fruet, you may know, has done some like Canadian horror films and things like that, and movies. And by the way, this is a Canadian TV series. I do know that I believe overseas this was called the 13th Hour, so it wasn't specifically called Friday the 13th series. Getting back into the episode, the little girl's father comes in there and actually gets the doll, and the doll is possessed, and obviously the little girl Mary, who was played by Sarah Polley, who does a lot of movies. She hasn't done a lot of movies lately, but she has done a lot of movies after this, and she does a lot of producing. She's directed some films. A lot of people may remember her from Go and the Dawn of the Dead remake. Um, so you also have Lynn Cormack. She is the stepmother in this. Later on, she goes on to play in another episode of the same season that I'm reviewing today. And you got Barclay Hope, who plays Mickey's boyfriend, fiance, Lloyd. You also get introduced to like knowing that the cursed objects are in a tomb where Lewis is trying to put away some stuff, and then that's when he finds his demise. So during the time where after they sold the little girl uses the doll to put her stepmother in the hospital because she falls down the stairs because of a roller skate, gets up in there under this, makes her slips and falls down. She ends up going to the hospital, and the father is sitting there saying, "Stay here," and she uses the doll, and the doll kills her. And he's in grief, so he has the neighbor watch her while he's going to work, and she tries to kill the nanny, I guess, or not nanny, but the babysitter. And so Mickey and Ryan are going to where the house is so they can get the doll back. And Mickey finally gets the girl on this merry-go-round, the little thing where you sit in and you go around and around. And they end up getting the doll back, and the little girl, she's crying. She wanted, But anyway, so basically that was the first episode of The Inheritance. People know, I pretty much skipped a lot, exactly every plot detail of the episode. I don't want to go on 20 minutes talking about each individual scene, but pretty much the very first episode is a great introduction to the series. It shows the beginning, how Louis Bandardy started the store. Not really how he got the store started, but that he was the owner of the store, and he ends up dying, and he gives it to his nephew, niece, and about John LeMay, who a lot of people may remember went on to play in Jason Goes to Hell. He's actually played in a lot of movies, some movies prior to this and some after the beginning of this episode, and he played in a lot of TV shows before this and after this. So yeah, he did a great performance as Ryan Dallion, and Mickey Foster, played by Roby. Her real name was Louise Roby. She did some music in the 80s, and I think she still does music today, but she did a great performance as Mickey. R.J. Armstrong, classic legendary actor, he did a great performance as Lewis. I know he shows up several times throughout this season. And then you have Chris Wiggins, who just recently passed away this year. Made the cast as a whole. Chris Wiggins is a great Canadian actor. I've seen him in tons of things, and there's a particular episode that I would be reviewing later on that he has a great, how would I say, he's a great actor, but he brings a lot to the table. You've got these two cousins who have the store, and he kind of like helps them along and goes to find the cursed objects and stuff like that, but yeah, as far as giving this a rating, I'm only going to go by 5 stars. I would give this 4 stars. Great introduction to the series. We've got 25 more episodes to go through, so this is going to be quite a long journey doing all these episodes. But yes, that's the Friday the 13th, the series, episode 1, The Inheritance. Next Friday or Saturday, I will do episode 2, which is The Poison Pen. That's a great one. So if you enjoyed this video, just give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave comments below, and I'll catch you on the next review.